Gonna see my face today, but I'm back in your ear hole. We're talking about this reparation things, and it's always something when it comes to us, but Mr. Joe Biden can make it rain for everybody else. Roll that damn music.
Got the PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Chime. Hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm talking Payoneer, Netspend, Venmo, Stash. Too many ways for you to run my cash. Check reparation, 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 check. Yeah, well, if you talking compensation, it's about that time. You get everybody.
Oh yeah, and we're back. What is the deal, pickle? Y'all know what it is. It's the nooner, and it's the weekend, and we talking about reparations, and everybody losing their damn mind right now because the money's being talked about. But you know, when the money's being talked about, here comes the trick bag. So it says price tag on reparations for black descendants of slaves sparks debate as Democrats propose 14 trillion. And I say black descendants of slaves is too broad. That's why we coined the term foundational black Americans, because it cannot be remixed. We're speaking about the people who built this country and who are the foundation of this country. We're not talking about people who immigrated here after the civil rights movement or just before. But it says cities, states, and leaders across the U.S. are calling for reparations for black Americans to compensate for the lasting harm of slavery. Most recently, Representative Cori Bush, Democrat, Missouri, introduced a Reparations Now resolution, which proposed that Congress provide at least 14 trillion in reparations to descendants of enslaved Africans. I don't like that language. Bush says that the resolution $1 trillion amount includes the value of cotton produced by black people and the lack of repayment since slavery. And I quote, "We need to push this right now," Bush told The Root. It's 2023 and the U.S. federal government still has acknowledged the atrocities that have come at the hands of the government. Figures align with the estimates from the economy. William Darity Jr., professor at public policy at Duke University, who recently concluded that reparations for black Americans with ancestors who were enslaved could be between 13 trillion and 14 trillion. See, this is them getting ahead of it, trying to put a cap on it, right? So they saying 13, 14 trillion when they really trying to haggle it down some. It should start at 50 trillion, real talk. But anyway, it says earlier this month, California 9-member representative task force approved a final report that recommends monetary payments, policy reforms, and public apology for black Californians, including to the New York Times. Black Californians could receive nearly 1.2 million per person if California Governor Gavin Newsom signs off on reparations. And I quote, "The extent of harm is terrible and it's enormous. It's astronomical," Donald Tamaki, a task force member and lawyer, told Yahoo News. "I think people have to sort out the idea that reparations are merely a check in reparations are merely a check in the mail. It is. Well, it does involve compensation, but it does involve a whole other orders of fixing the system and the culture that created it in the first place. Yeah, but cut the check though. Like don't veer from that though." It says the federal level House Resolution 40, a bill that could create a commission to study the development of reparations, has sat in limbo for decades since it was first introduced to Representative John Conyers, Democrat in Michigan in 1989. So that HR 40 has been around since 1989, and it's still a nothing burger because all it talks about is the study of. It don't talk about actually doing anything. It doesn't talk about any actual numbers. It just talks about studying. And then it says last year, Sheila Kuhn Jackson Lee, Democrat Texas, called President Biden to sign executive order to set up the commission for HR 40. HR 40 is 30 years on the books and waiting for someone to say yes, Lee said during the 2-day conference at Reparations in Evanston last year. "I want for once to accept the history of my journey that African Americans have taken to be accepted in reality in America. I said, why there's a debate. It shouldn't be no debate. See, that's what I'm saying. Notice how when it's something for black people, it's always a debate. It's always controversial. It's always this, that, and the third. But that don't stop them. I mean, so is all that the little bussy policies that y'all be instituting and all of that, same sex, this, that, and the third. Nobody agrees with that too, but y'all don't. It's never really a debate around it. But it says the debates surrounding reparation intensifies. Public opinion still views that the concept unfavorably. A 2020 survey by Pew Research Center found that more than 60% of Americans oppose reparations to descendants of American enslaved people. Another poll on reparations from 2021 found that 62% of Americans oppose the idea of reparations, according to the findings of Massachusetts. So we don't care if you don't like it. I bet you more people didn't like y'all giving all of that money to Ukraine. I bet you that. I bet you more people didn't like um, that Asian crime bill that y'all just forced down people's throats. People didn't like that either, but you still did it, and we don't care about your feelings. How about that? It says for many, reparations are a concerning and risky proposition due to the monetary compensation. So now they telling you what they scared of. They don't want black people to get no money. What's up, Mom? They don't want black people to get no money because they scared on what black people might do. What? Make them compete and actually work for a living and not expect giveaways, goodies, and guarantees for the complexion, for the protection? Is that what it is? Y'all scared y'all actually gonna have to do something? It says some taxpayers say that they shouldn't have to pay for the wrongdoings of the ancestors. Yes, you should, because y'all benefit from the wrongdoings of the ancestors. So miss me with that. And guess what? Y'all don't let black people live nothing down. Once we do something, it stick with us for life. Bill Cosby. Y'all ain't let him live nothing down, so why we gonna let you live something down? It says reparations could also create an equality issue because it is unclear how city, state level reparations could affect the rest of the country. Yeah, it takes black people off the bottom, and that's what y'all don't want. You see you listen to them real close. It's right there in your face. They're saying we're so used to black people being at the bottom, we ain't gonna know what to do if we can't beat up on the Negroes. What we gonna do if we ain't got black people to point at the bottom? Like, how I'ma live? I gauge my life based off how bad black people doing. If black people getting any type of progress, this country is going to crap. See, but are they talking about how much subsidies and what the what's up, Miss Shelley Shell? Yeah, that's right. But is they talking about how much? Okay, so look, in Chicago right now, they're moving immigrants into the black community, converting old schoolhouses into apartments and holding facilities. Now, when you hold the people, you got to feed them, you got to clothe them, right? You got to give them money for life. So, what kind of stipend is that? What kind of Pizza Hut gift cards and Walmart gift cards and all of that is y'all giving them? Why is it always a problem when it come to us? Everybody always concerned. And it says, and I quote, in the administration of reparations program, you really rely upon the individual states and the municipalities to set up the program. Everyone will be different. It should be uniform across local, city, county, and federal because they were all involved, and municipalities and corporations because they're all involved. Everybody owes. YouTube owes for stifling and stymieing and blocking my 2 channels. I got 2 channels that's got strikes on them right now because we telling the truth over something bogus. But there's white supremacists out here on YouTube going in on black people. They ain't took them off of nothing yet. It says research also is unsure on how reparations can be successfully implemented and who should or should not include. Well, It should be implemented just like y'all did them checks for COVID, just like that. Y'all see how y'all got that money out for COVID? Y'all got people's bank accounts, or you sent them a card, or whatever the whoop-de-woo, or sent them a check. You know how to do it. And who should be included? Very simple. People who died and survived the killing fields of the American South. If your family didn't pick no cotton, if you didn't experience slavery, Jim Crow, if you redline, if you came here after what 65, if you came here after what 1890, more likely you didn't experience any of that. Anyway, it goes on to say, it says some critics argue that pursuing reparations could open the floodgates for other marginalized groups to seek compensation. Now, what does that say? That lets you know, black people, that's why they so hard on us. And we set the tone for everybody, and everybody follow our move. You hear what they say, right? You know, once we give it to them niggas, then we got to give it to everybody. Everybody gonna get bold if we do it to the black people, because they the ones that legitimately have a grievance against this country. But you know what? Everybody else don't. Everybody that immigrated here came here willingly knowing what was going on. So you get nothing, because you got the choice to go back to the crib, cuz. You get nothing. If you Caribbean, if you Jamaican and all of that, you got to go holler at CARICOM. You got to go holler at the Crown and tell them to get what you got coming. That ain't got nothing to do with us over here, Holmes. Anyway, it goes on to say, however, supporters of reparations believe that America has a duty to remedy and the harms of slavery that it caused for generations of racist laws and practices that have hindered Black Americans' ability to prosper. That is right. Now, notice how they say this. They don't say it like they're supporters of it. It says, however, supporters of reparations. So that's basically saying that the person writing this article and the publication publishing it, they don't want nothing to do with that. Now, here they go with they can't afford. Yeah, y'all could show to afford all of that PPP money y'all gave away, California. Y'all ain't say nothing about that. Y'all giving people millions upon millions of dollars. It says California can't afford reparations. BS. The Reparations Task Force has already pledged that nearly 80% of California's 2.6 million Black residents will be granted reparations. The task force cannot achieve this goal, even if it was legal, which it is not. First, the math doesn't. Who is writing this? This comes from Fox News. It is legal because it's lineage based. They said Black residents. It's not color based. It's lineage based. So that's trick bag. You know what the deal is. But they just keep doing that because they scared. They scared that it's really on the wax now. But it says the task force cannot achieve this goal, even if it was legal, which it is. First, the math simply doesn't apply. Consider if all eligible Black Californians were merely given $1,000 in reparations, the cost of California would exceed $2 billion. That's not our fault. We don't care what the cost was. Y'all wasn't worried about what the cost was when y'all was building and pillaging and taking and shaking and baking. Y'all wasn't worried about it then. That's what you wasn't doing. It said would be the pittance of the injuries that they claim that Blacks have faced in California. Horace Cooper, senior fellow of the National Center for Public Policy Research. Either some coon Black dude or some white dude that they get up to say BS. Anyway, it says reparations for Blacks will not fix the wealth gap. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. You want to know why? Because then we will be able to start our own community, our own economies. You know what I'm saying? But not only start them, because we started them before, we done it before, we do it all the time. It's just that when we start our stuff, we're the only ones that are targeted. See, Asians ain't been targeted. That's why you got Chinatowns every damn where. They have been allowed to prosper. They have been allowed to succeed. They have not been targeted financially or any of that. That has not happened. So yeah, we could do it, but this time what's going to be different is we'll have the funds to protect it. You see, building it is one thing, but also having the money and the funds to protect it is another. And then they've done such a good job at co-opting, our financially astute people here in America, our athletes and entertainers and blah, 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 the people that they choose to give money to that don't really serve a purpose. But they've done such a good job at co-opting them, right, that we can't even rely on those in our community to give back that have been mobile, upwardly mobile, so to speak. But it goes on to say critics offer other solutions. Well, we don't want the other solutions because all they talking about is, listen to this. They always come up with this. A more prudent approach would be invest in education. Nigga, what is a 40, 30, 40, 50-year-old dude going back to school for? Infrastructure. Infrastructure helps everybody. The roads and bridges and all of that should be built. Are y'all talking about us working on them? Nah, y'all ain't pick. Man, come on. Social programs, we don't need no WIC and no aid vouchers, fam. We don't need that. Cut the check and we'll do what we need to do for us. See, I was trying to was there any suggestion on what to give Ukraine when y'all sent the money over there? Like, no, we shouldn't send the billions over there. We should send some teachers over there for training programs, and we should send some. Nah, that don't help in war, right? We're at war, right? Them intangible gifts, them intangible suggestions don't help us in this war that y'all raging against us. Because we're literally at war. We're at war to be exterminated. If y'all haven't known, you better recognize it's serious. And in this situation, I'm going to let y'all know right now, I'm saying it right here on this show. This reparations situation is going to be the great divide. This is what's going to kick it off. I'm telling y'all. Because they're going to hype black people up like it's going to happen. And either one or two things going to happen. They're going to try to renege and we going to send this mug up and everybody going to be equally uncomfortable. Or they're going to have to fold. And then when they fold, it is what it is. It starts a new day. We can't. What goes up must come down. That doesn't necessarily mean what's on the bottom shall rise to the top. But if you fight, right? Now, look at this BS right here. America already paid the price for slavery. No, y'all didn't. No, y'all. Look at these talking points. This is all the talking points that white people say. Perspectives, right? Perspectives. Notice when they talk about what's real, they talk about the real shit in the beginning. Then look look how his title say, what's happening? These niggas about to get some money and we scared. We can't let them get nothing. Then it says, why is there debate? Because we need to talk it out, walk it out. We need to do something, stall something. We can't let them get on, y'all. Then it goes down. Then it says, perspectives. Whose perspectives? Only the opposing perspective? Why it's not a biased perspective of, because I ain't heard nothing for it. So this Yahoo, of course, news is biased as hell because they ain't put up nothing for it. I mean, they said they in a pass by, yeah, the atrocities that the government played, and this government is still here. They haven't been dismantled; they're still here, so they still owe. Just like with J.P. Morgan and Chase and a whole bunch of other companies that profited from slavery. It says reparations for slavery were paid in full with the blood shed by 110 Union Army troops killed. Man, y'all wouldn't even have won that war if y'all didn't institute black soldiers. The Confederacy was kicking y'all butt because that's where all the military schools was. But then y'all told black people, if y'all help us fight the war, y'all gonna be free. Black people went out there and got it in for y'all. So that's a lie. Lie detector determined that is a lie. And they quoting John A. Cleveland, Wall Street Journal. What? Nothing more is necessary 150 years later. See, and in this time, just forget. Make sure you forget. Whatever. There's no one size fits all reparations. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Everybody get the same amount. Sound 1.2 million sound about good to me. That sounds reasonable. That sounds very reasonable, considering the average income of the typical white family, the typical Asian family, the typical any family. Considering y'all just don't want us to get up off the bottom, though. See, y'all can just listen to what they say. They basically saying we want you niggas to stay at the bottom. It says racial discrimination today proves reparations are needed. Oh, they got one. Nope. 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 Because we're not talking about discrimination. We're talking about the systematic ways in which this country goes hard to deny us financial and upward mobility. So it's not discrimination, because if that was discrimination, then everybody gets discriminated on. We ain't talking about discrimination. We talking about financial strangulation. It says don't no dollar amount is enough. For those who think the cost is too high, consider the ongoing price paid for these injustices by all people who called the U.S. home, also paid in currency of shorter, sicker lives. This time to make a down payment on a healthy future, Mary Travis Bassett, a public health professor at Harvard. That was a word salad eat too, baby girl. That's a word salad too. Notice how they got all opposing views in this young article here. Man, listen, it's going to happen or else. It's to that point. It's going to happen or else. I mean, it's going to happen, right? Think about all the people saying, y'all ain't never going to get, hey, y'all talking about, that's crazy. Reparations is crazy. What y'all talking about? This? Yeah, it ain't so crazy now, huh? It's not so crazy now. But I ain't going to hold you. I'm going to mold you, fold you, and scold you about being on the code. I had to give y'all a little long one today. Had some little technical difficulties with the spot. That's why I was in the core. You know what I'm saying? Still bringing y'all the news, but I'm back like I never left. And I'm ready for you, baby. 4 words. Love with the peace. Got them blessings. And it's Maloha. And I'm out the Doha. For show high. You already know how. Can I get a